Welcome to Quick Start workout number 3. We're gonna build in a few more essential exercises as well as a couple of new body shapes for you to learn within this workout. Let's begin with our favorite diaphragmatic breath. So we're just gonna come straight into the 4-point position. Let's just go straight into a round back cat stretch type position to breathe. So just gonna come into your classic 4-point position, round through your spine, and we're just gonna hold that position to breathe. It's gonna help us emphasize the back breath. So you can take a nice big breath into your back. And on the exhale, you're just gonna deepen the stretch. So you're just gonna round through your back that little bit more. 2 more times. Take a big breath and curl. 1 more time. Lots of breath into the back and curl. Opening up into a flat back. You're going to walk your hands a really good handspan up the mat. And then we're going to push back into our child's pose position. Now, for some people, this might be really tight on their hips and they can't really come back that far, and that's fine. Just walk your hands a little bit further up the mat and drop your forehead down towards the mat, and that would be okay. That's your inhale. On the exhale, we're going to push the hips through to a neutral position, squeeze the buttocks a little bit, and drop the shoulder blades down. Okay, that's the exhale. So we're going to go inhale, drop back. And exhale, hinge through the hips, drop them forward, activate through the hips, and set the shoulder blades down. 2 more times. Inhale to drop back. Exhale, swing the hips forward. 1 more. Inhale, big stretch. Big breath. Exhale. You're gonna push your hips back over your knees. Walk your hands back a little bit for some upper body stability work. We're gonna go eye of the needle. You're gonna lift one hand and you're gonna reach underneath your opposite armpit. You're then gonna roll through that bottom shoulder, stretch across the mat and slowly lower yourself down. You can sit back slightly until you can rest your shoulder down, getting a twist through your upper back. Take a breath. Push through your supporting arm and return to the stop position. You might see another version of it here. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, lift your hand, take it underneath the opposite armpit, slowly bend that arm, lower yourself down to the floor into a nice upper back twist. Hold for a breath and push yourself up. Sometimes people can't get their shoulder all the way down. If you have to rest on your elbow, that's totally fine. You're gonna reach across the body. If you have to rest on the elbow, do that. Look towards the ceiling. You can go further, come down onto the shoulder, hold for a breath. And return 1 more time. Inhale. Exhale, rotate and reach. Inhale to stay. And exhale to return. That felt amazing. Okay, now we're gonna do the reverse. You're gonna take one hand behind your shoulder. Inhale to prepare. Try and keep your hips stacked over your knees as you rotate, looking up to the ceiling. And inhale to return. It's not a massive rotation for most people, and people have a tendency to drop back in their hips. Try not to do that. You're just gonna push out of your supporting arm, roll out of that shoulder, and rotate and look to the ceiling. And then return. Let's go to the other side. Taking your opposite hand behind your back, inhale to prepare. Push out of your supporting arm, rotate through your upper back, and look to the ceiling. And inhale to return, square up those shoulders to the floor. Exhale, push out of your supporting shoulder, rotate through your upper back, and look to the ceiling, trying to twist through your rib cage, and return to the stop position, back into the 4-point position, shoulders stacked up. So the shoulders are stacked over your wrists, knees are just hip width apart. We're gonna go through donkey kick into hip abduction today. So we're gonna go lifting through our donkey kick. Again, trying not to shift your weight to the side too much. Then you're gonna circle the knee up and around until it's lifted out to the side of your body without your body position changing. We call this, I call this dog came on a fire hydrant. That's what I call it. I don't know if anyone else calls it that. Out to the side, and then it's gonna lower down to the mat. We're gonna do 4 of these all in a row, okay? And it's hard, so hang in there. We're gonna go donkey kick, Circle that knee up and around until it's all the way up to the side of the body, stabilizing through your torso, and lower it down. 2 more. Take a breath. Exhale, brace, lift, rotate, and circle, and lower it down. 1 last time. Take a breath. Donkey kick, circle, lift it up and out to the side, and lower it down, forward to the other side. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, lift, keeping the shoulders packed down, circle it up and out to the side, hold it right out to the side, and lower it to the mat. Take a breath, and lift it behind you, circle it up and around, straight out to the side, and lower it down. 2 more. 1 big breath. Brace, lift, circle. And lower. Last one. Take a breath. Donkey kick. Hydrant, not letting the belly collapse, not letting the elbows bend, and release. You're then just going to stretch your right arm down the mat and stretch out through your left leg without your torso moving, and slide it back in. This is just a nice modified version of a bird dog. Most people are really familiar with bird dog, but it's one of those exercises that are done really poorly. It looks so simple, but the key here is that your body weight is not shifting side to side, and when you extend your arm and leg, you're not collapsing through your center. So you're staying nice and lifted. Let's go 1 more time either side. Just stretch the fingertips down the mat and stretch out through your leg, and return. Reach and return. Okay, we're just going to cross our feet here and come to laying down on the mat. We have not done in our Quick Start series an ab prep, which is wild. We should definitely have done an ab prep by now, but we haven't, and that's okay. So we're going to have our knees bent, laying down on our back. So an ab prep is a really classical Pilates exercise. And of course, we draw a lot from the Pilates philosophy in this training. So I will reference the ab prep for sure. Hands are going to be down by our sides. Feet and knees are hip width apart. You're stretching your hands down to the end of the mat to make a nice open upper body. On the inhale, you lengthen through the back of the neck, brace through your abdominals, and press your pelvis into the floor. So you already feel sort of locked and loaded a little bit through your lumbo-pelvic region. You're then going to slide your ribs down and look up to above your knees. So your neck is in a nice neutral position. You're flexed up as much as you can. Hold for a breath. And then articulate back down through the spine. So it's the goal is that you are trying to move segmentally. It doesn't feel as segmental as like a cat stretch, but you are peeling up and peeling down, okay? Shoulders down, inhale, lengthen through the back of the neck. Start to initiate by flexing through the upper back, looking up over the knees, still stretching the arms. Hold for a breath. And articulating back down. 2 to go. Inhale. Exhale, flex. Inhale to stay. And exhale to release. 1 last time. Inhale to prepare. Exhale to flex. Inhale to stay. And exhale to articulate down. Now in Quick Start Workout 1, which you may or may not have done already, we practice tabletop legs. We're gonna do the same position but laterally rotated today. So you're gonna take a big breath, brace, lift one leg up to tabletop, hold the brace, lower back doesn't move as you lift the second leg to tabletop being 90 degrees at the hips, 90 degrees at the knees. But we're now just gonna open the knees nice and wide. It's like a double leg clamshell. You're activating through your lateral rotators a little bit and trying to open the knees using your hip muscles without excessively gripping through your hips, which is really hard. There definitely does feel like a little bit of hip gripping, but you're trying to use your hips as much as like your outer hips as much as possible, not your hip flexors, okay? We're gonna hold this position and do 4 more ab preps, but this time we're gonna do it in an externally rotated arm position. So instead of our palms facing down, we're gonna try and spiral our entire arm, so not just our hand, our entire arm up right from the head of the shoulder. So you should feel when you flip here that you've opened up the head of the shoulder a little bit, but still are in control of the ribs, okay? It's an inhale to shoulders down, lengthen through the back of the neck, and then we're gonna slide the ribs down again to look in between our knees towards our heels now, reach through the hands, hold for an inhale, and exhale to articulate back down, resting the arms down on the floor. Inhale, stretch through the arms, lengthen through the back of the neck. Exhale to flex up, look towards the feet. Inhale to stay, open those knees, and exhale to articulate back down. 2 to go, can't wait. Inhale, exhale, flex. Inhale to stay. Exhale to articulate back down. Last one, inhale. Exhale to flex. Inhale to stay. Exhale to articulate back down. Let's flip the palms down, bring our legs through tabletop, and release 1 foot at a time down. Since we're down here, let's do 1 leg circle. So we're gonna straighten 1 leg down onto the mat and lift the opposite knee up into tabletop. The leg that's down on the mat, you wanna try and keep the back of the leg active, pulling down into the floor. The tendency is for the leg to roll out to the side or to be wide of the body. So we're trying to prevent that from happening. You're gonna bring your knee across your body without your hips rolling, up past your hip joint. Here's the fun part. You're gonna open it out to the side without your hips rolling and slightly below the hip joint. We're gonna do 1 more in that direction. So up past the hip joint, open, out to the side, down below the hip joint, back and around, finishing in the stop position, and reverse. So we're gonna go across the hip joint, towards the midline of the body, down below the hip joint, circle it up and around and out to the side. Notice my heel is still in line with the hip the whole time, actually, almost. So the knee comes across the body, but the heel does not. It goes down, the heel stays in the same place, but my knee comes to the outside of my hips and pulls up and around, back to the stop position, and then in line with the hip. Let's take it down, slide it out, go the other side. So bring it up to the center of your hip joint. It's gonna come across the body, bring it up and around, out of the hip, down and around, back across the midline, up, out, down, and around, and reverse. So we're gonna go down, lower than the hip, open it out to the side. So it's like you're drawing a circle with your kneecap. Out to the side and around, back across the midline, into the stop position, and lower it down. From here, you're gonna slide both feet into a bent knee position. I'm just gonna do a shoulder bridge with a little bit of an add-on here with a heel slide. So you're just gonna drive your feet into the floor, feel the activation through the back of the hips. Lift the hips straight up into a neutral position with the pelvis a little bit tucked, okay? Keeping lots of activity through your hips. You're gonna push your left foot into the floor a little bit extra and slide your right leg down the floor until it's straight. Now there's no question that this hip's gonna drop a little bit, but you're trying to minimize the drop of the hips. You're not just rolling and collapsing to the floor, and slide it back in. And then you're gonna switch sides. You're gonna transfer the weight into the new side and slide your left leg down the mat, doing a heel slide. And sliding it back in, shift back to the left. Slide your right leg down the floor and slide it back up. And the other side, activate, slide your left heel down the floor, slide it back up, activate through both hips evenly, and let's do a hip roll to come down. We're getting fancy. So we're holding the hips up, and you're gonna try and press your chest away from your face and really flex through the spine, dropping the ribs down, rolling down through the lower back, and releasing the pelvis at the bottom. From there, we're gonna rock on up, however you wanna come up or roll to the side. And we're gonna do a rolling like a bull prep, and maybe we'll do rolling like a bull. It's worthwhile. I like rolling exercises because they really give a sense of a lot of vitality and a lot of dynamic movement to the body. They're typically something that most people feel a little bit weird about doing at first, but hopefully you're home alone and you can just have fun with it. So we start in this bent knee position. Again, if sitting up in the bent knee position is hard and you want to hold the back of your knees, you go right ahead, or you can have your hands out in front of your chest. I will hold the back of my knees again. We're going to go sitting up tall and initiating with lumbo-pelvic flexion. So we're going to roll through the pelvis, try and flex our lower back and feel the engagement of our abdominals as we hold in this position. From here, you're going to lift one leg up to the tabletop position and try and hold your body statically and draw that leg towards you. Place it back down. Let's go to the other side. Lifting the leg up, drawing it towards you, really squeezing it. You're going to notice you're engaging your abdominals more as you're squeezing it towards you, and lower it back down. Again, lift and draw that leg towards you. Lower it back down. Exhaling as you lift and squeeze it towards you. Lower it down, drop the ribs slightly, roll forward, and finish sitting up. Now let's see if we can do both legs. Maybe it's possible. Inhale to sit up nice and tall. Exhale, brace, curl and roll back. Lifting one leg up to tabletop, try and balance. Hold, lift the second leg up to tabletop, and if you can, it's kind of hard, but if you can bring the knees together, go ahead and do that. We're gonna hold here for 3, for 2, for 1, release one foot down, nothing else moves, release the second foot down, rolling forward and coming up, repeating on the other side. Inhale, and by the other side, I mean leading with the opposite leg. It's good to practice leading with both legs. So we're gonna brace, bring one knee up towards you, and then the second foot comes up, bring the knees together, try and tuck those knees in tight to your chest. For 3, for 2, for 1, release one foot down, and the second foot down. Gently roll forward and finish sitting up nice and tall. Let's go for rolling like a ball. Let's do it 6 times. The key with rolling like a ball is try not to throw your body back. Think of looking in between your thighs and curling to roll back. That's the best tip I can give you. So we get into the position, in the balance position we just practiced. So you're gonna sit up tall, she says, curl and roll back, lift one leg to tabletop, and lift the second leg to tabletop, looking in between the thighs, relaxing the upper body. Taking an inhale to roll back. So you're gonna try and flex through your spine even more, roll backwards, and exhale as you roll up. Keep looking in between the thighs, roll back, and roll up. If I look down, I definitely am more successful. I wanna think rolling back as opposed to leaning back. Whoop, overdid it. Kicked my legs too much. 2 more. One more time, we're balancing at the top. Ideally, she says, holding the balance, at least 1 foot at a time. And if you're rolling back and kicking with your legs when you're first doing it, that would be pretty normal. I still don't have an amazing rolling like a ball. It seems to be one of those things that if people have really good flexion through their spine, they're just naturally good at. And for those of us that are more stiff for our spine, especially our lower back, it's particularly hard. But that's okay. It's some people are better at this exercise than others, but most of the time we can find a way that we can sort of do it. I actually haven't met too many people that haven't been able to in some way execute it. So there's hope for all of us, I think. Okay, we're gonna come on up and do some upper body movements in the bent over position, in the deadlift position. So we're gonna come to standing, and we're gonna come into that hip hinge mechanic with the soft knee, known as the deadlift squat. So feet are hip width apart, nice and straight. You're gonna hinge at the hips and sit back into the deadlift squat position. My knees are generally stacked over my ankle. They can be slightly in front of the ankle, but the key here is that most of the movement is happening by hinging at the hips. From there, my hands are gonna be out in front of me. I'm gonna initiate just with straight arm, like a straight arm lat pull, which is about me being able to reach past the hips. And without changing my spinal shape, I'm just gonna squeeze the shoulder blades together. Inhale to reach my hands back out in front of my chest. I'm gonna lift up, squeeze my shoulder blades together, trying to keep the shoulders down. It seems like such a small movement, but it really does activate through the muscles in the middle of the back. Of course, we can add resistance over time, which really enhances this exercise, but we generally don't need a ton of resistance to make us feel these small muscles in our mid-back. Similarly, we're gonna go into the T, so we're gonna go out to the side, straight in line with the shoulder, and really squeeze the shoulder blades together to lift our arms back behind us. We're gonna do that 4 times as well. Ideally, just holding this deadlift position the whole time. Lifting and squeezing through the mid-back, and lowering down. On the exhale, we're gonna lift, squeeze through the middle of the back, and release. And one more time, lifting, squeezing. Okay, now we're gonna scissor the arms. So you're gonna take one hand beside the hip, and the other hand's gonna stretch and reach up overhead. So you're reaching overhead, but you're also squeezing through your mid-back with this hand that's reaching behind you. Bringing them back out in front of the chest, and going the other way. Squeezing through the mid-back at the end of the range, and returning to the stop position. Reaching, squeezing the mid-back. Inhale as you return. Exhale as you lift and reach. Ideally holding a nice flat back position the whole time. Your hips might be tiring here, so we're just gonna drive through the hips to return to give ourselves a break. We're gonna go both hands up overhead now, but we're gonna sit into our deadlift position as we do it. So we're gonna put those 2 movements together. So as you reach your hips back, you're gonna stretch your arms up overhead. Try and lift your hips back, but also imagine your hands reaching up to the ceiling. You want sort of a straight line through your fingertips, out through your tailbone. Ideally, reach overhead, then drive through the hips as the hands come down. Inhale to reach up and overhead. Reach back into your hip hinge position and return. 2 more times. And return. Last one. Reach. And return. Okay. From here, we're gonna go for another shape. We're gonna go back into our hip hinge, but wide leg. And then we're gonna take our wide leg hip hinge into a lateral lunge. So we're gonna go wide feet, but even though the feet are wide, I still want you to turn them straight. Now, it's not uncommon when people are doing this particular exercise for their buttocks to be sitting backwards. So you want your hips kind of set forwards. And you may already be feeling a little bit of an inner thigh stretch, especially men will already feel an inner thigh stretch just to be in this position. So just something to be aware of, but even so, do try and keep your feet turned forward, okay, and hips set forward. From here, your hips are gonna go backwards, you're gonna hip hinge and lower the nice flat back towards the floor. This is a very different stretch through the back of the body. For some people, they have more flexibility in the hinge in this position, and some people have less. It's totally dependent upon your body. Lowering down, keep your chest nice and open. Looking over the horizon of the floor is helpful. Lower down as far as you feel comfortable. And then again, initiating through the hips as you return to the stop position. Just 2 more. 4 reps in total. Lowering, lifting through the hips. Imagine that tailbone again, lifting to the sky. And return, really pressing the hips forward at the end of the range. You might notice a bit of a groin stretch at the end of the range. Lowering down, hinging the hips back. Chest is open, and return. Okay, so now we're gonna do that same hip hinge mechanic, but we're gonna bend one knee, which is essentially a lateral lunge. So you're gonna think hip hinge mechanic, but bend one knee. Your hips are still lifting back and behind you nice and high, sitting down into a squat through one leg, and basically getting as low as you can go. I actually like to use my hands as a counterbalance here. Make sure you're pushing the bent knee out nice and wide. You're lowering down as far as you can lower down through this inner thigh stretch. You're gonna feel a significant inner thigh stretch here. Then you're gonna push through your squat leg. Think push sideways like you're skating to return to standing. Again, initiating through a hip hinge. Your chest is lowering down, but your hips are lifting high and backwards, bending through one leg. Lower down into a nice low lateral lunge stretch. Drive sideways to return. Hinge, sit down, reach those hips back, go nice and low, drive through the hips to return, press the hips forward, hip hinge backwards, press the knee nice and wide, lowering down, and drive through the hips to return. From there, you can walk your feet in, just a shoulder width apart, and we're gonna go into an alternate squat, which is the deep squat. So really there's 2 types of squat shapes that we use in this program. We've had our deadlift style squat, which you've already seen, but there's also the deep squat. The deep squat is different from the deadlift squat in many, many ways, actually. It's the type of squat which we depict when You think about somebody being able to sit down like they're gonna sit on their heels, almost like you would maybe if you were sitting, crouching down and gardening or something like that. You see toddlers do it all the time. It's the way that they would typically squat down. Small children with flexible joints. So here's the differences. We went from a hip width apart position to a wide shoulder width apart position. Instead of hinging through our hips and looking down at the floor, we're gonna try and look straight and keep our chest up the whole time. Instead of having our knees stacked over our ankles, we're gonna actually allow our knees to flex quite a bit. It is helpful to think about counterbalancing with the arms on the squat. So you're gonna initiate with a little bit of a hip hinge, but immediately notice I'm softening my knees. My chest stays upright, I'm looking straight ahead, and I'm pressing my knees nice and wide as I sit into as low of a squat as possible, keeping my back straight and driving through the hips to return. Again, you're gonna sit down, initiating softening through the knees, stretching the hands out in front of you, lower down as far as you can go, and driving to return. Now, I'm sitting probably quite deep. Our goal really is just to get our hips at the same height as our knee joint. Everything below, everything of the hips being lower than the knee joint is bonus and something we'll work on over time. Lots of people won't be able to do it typically due to a lack of ankle mobility, and that's perfectly normal, and something we can work on. 2 more times. Stretch out in front of you, looking up nice and tall,